Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the ILNP Home for the Holidays collection. There are 6 polishes here altogether. These are available right now, so I will link the ILNP website down below, and I'll get into the swatches. So these are the boxes that the ILNP polishes come in. I always try to show boxes if I remember, because someone spent a lot of time designing them, and they should be shown. The first polish is called Sled Day, and this is described as a creamy, light gray holographic jelly. This is a jelly, so it is sheer on the first coat, but it's not as sheer as I was expecting it to be. It also is just a little bit uneven on that first coat, but those streaks did blend in a bit as it dried. This did cover completely for me in 2 coats, but I did do a thicker second coat and really float that brush over to get there, so I would not be surprised at all if you ended up needing 3 for this one. So that is 2 coats of Sled Day. The next polish is called Cookie Cutter, and this is described as a tan holographic jelly. This one is also jelly crelly, so it is pretty sheer on that first coat. Even though by the end of the last polish, the streakiness didn't make a difference, this one is more even than that one was. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear my house creaking in the background. It just suddenly got very windy. This built up pretty well for me on the second coat, but I did still have a little bit of nail line showing. I wanted to see if I could cover that up. It did cover mostly in 3 coats. I feel like if I looked really closely, I could still see some of it, but it was very, very minor. So that is 3 coats of Cookie Cutter. The next polish is called Joy, and this is described as a classic red holographic jelly. This is very saturated. It's much more opaque than I was expecting it to be. It is just a touch on the thick side. It's not too thick, but it is a noticeable difference from the previous 2 shades. And obviously this covered completely in 2 coats because it was really opaque in 1. You will get just the slightest occasional texture from those holographic flakies, but nothing like a glitter. So that is 2 coats of Joy. The next polish is called Forest Drive, and this is described as a holiday green holographic jelly. So the jelly base on this one is a little bit sheer on the first coat. It is a jelly, and it's not like super sheer by any means. It goes on pretty evenly, and the formula feels pretty good. This covered completely for me in 2 coats. I did have to do like a little spot treatment on the corner of my nail just to make sure that it did cover completely. So I would not be surprised if you ended up needing 3 coats for this one, just depending on your application. So that is 2 coats of Forest Drive. The next polish is called Spiced Cider, and this is described as a warm, rustic brown holographic jelly. This is another jelly, so it's a little bit sheer, but not as sheer as I was expecting. It's still very saturated, and it covers fairly evenly with a good formula. This covered completely for me in 2 coats, and this was lighter and warmer than I thought it was going to be from looking at it in the bottle. I was surprised at what this looked like on my nails. So that is 2 coats of Spiced Cider. The next polish is called Bear Hug, and this is described as a cozy cocoa brown holographic jelly. This was a little sheer on the first coat, again, pretty saturated. It is a very dark jelly. The formula on this one did feel just a touch thicker. Again, not too thick, but like Joy, it was noticeable after going from one formula to the next right away. This covered completely for me in 2 coats, and this is very dark. It's not quite an almost black shade, but I think it is really close. So that is 2 coats of Bear Hug. So for dupes wise, I like to stick within the same brand just so that I have some kind of guideline. If I went across my entire collection, it would be way too much. But I am open to suggestions. If you have anything that you want to see compared, because I'm sure you have better ideas than I do, leave it down in the comments and I will see what I can do. Okay, so starting out with Sled Day. Sled Day is going to be this guy right here. So first I have Aspen, which is much more blue than Sled Day. Next here I have Tombstone, which is a bit lighter and it has those copper flakies in it, which I think kind of make all the difference with the polish. I think it's just like not even comparable because of those copper flakies. Here we have Tombstone again, just because I like to have them directly side by side. And then this is Rain, which is much darker and leans a bit more blue. Then we have Tombstone again and Central Station. Now when I had these 2 together in the bottle, they looked much more similar than they do actually swatched. Central Station is considerably more taupey. So just again, moving back through, we have Aspen, Sled Day, Tombstone, Sled Day, Rain, Sled Day, and Central Station. Now I only found one that I felt like was close enough to even try to compare. So this here is Cookie Cutter, and then this one here is Toasted, which is obviously much peachier and lighter. And I feel like it it probably has the same amount of flakies in it. It just seems like a little bit less in Toasted because it's so much lighter of a color. So again, Cookie Cutter and Toasted. So for Joy, I have a lot of reds. I feel like I probably could have done more than this, but this is where we are. So Joy is going to be right here. The first one that I have next to it is Stopping Traffic, which is a bit lighter and it has this like really fine red metallic shimmer to it. Sets it apart a little bit. Then we have Sun-Kissed right here. This ended up much more pink than I was expecting. Again, Joy right here. This is Cherry Luxe, which is almost more burgundy and also has these silver metallic flakies in it. Joy again. This one is Say Love. This is close in color, but it has those like red fine metallic flakies in it as well, which makes it look a little bit more reflective and almost makes it look a bit more pink too, because you have those flakies coming up from under that base. Again, this is Joy, and then last is Closure, which also is, it's a linear holographic rather than a scattered holographic, and then it also is a little bit more pink. So Stopping Traffic, Joy, Sun-Kissed, Joy, Cherry Luxe, Joy, Say Love, Joy, and Closure. So for Forest Drive, which is going to be this one, all these little asterisks here, which don't judge me, it's chicken scratch. The first one I have is Holly. This is a little bit darker and a little bit has a slight more blue tone to it, where Forest Drive is a very like true emerald kind of green. I have Park Avenue, which also came off very teal, not really super comparable there. Forest Drive again. This one is Lucky One. This is actually darker on the nail than I thought it was going to be from looking at it in the bottle, but it has those silver metallic flakies which give it a bit more of a shine, like a shimmery metallic look to it rather than a scattered holographic. The color's a little bit off. This one is a little bit more blue and less like true emerald. They are close though the finish is very different. Forest Drive again, and then this is Cheers, also very blue, very teal, not close. I feel like I did a really bad job here. Either I don't have a lot of true forest green emerald kind of ILNP shades, or I just did this in the dark, but I didn't have as many that were close as I thought I would. So again, that is Holly, Forest Drive, Park Avenue, Forest Drive, Lucky One, Forest Drive, and Cheers. So I have Spiced Cider here in the middle. Next to it is Timber, which is much more brown. It doesn't have that kind of red tone to it. I actually feel like I should put, okay, I'm gonna snap off the nail that has Cookie Cutter on it, and I'm gonna put it next to Timber because I feel like those two should have been put together now in hindsight. So this is Cookie Cutter, this is Timber. I feel like those two should have been compared because they're much closer than Toasted and Cookie Cutter were. So Timber and Cookie Cutter's close. This is a little bit warmer and a little bit lighter, but not much. We went off the rails there. I wasn't expecting to go backwards. So, okay, Timber, we've been through that, Spiced Cider, and the next to that is Overnight Bag, which is a little bit more purpley and has much smaller holographic particles to it. So no dupes there, but these two are actually a lot closer than I expected. So again, that is Cookie Cutter, Timber, Spiced Cider, and Overnight Bag. So next I have Bear Hug. So this is Bear Hug here. It's got those holographic flakes to it. Next to it is Shapeshifter, which is recent. I think this is from their last collection. I think it was Halloween this year. This is a very deep reddish brown base. The bases are pretty close, but with those, what even color are those flakies? But with those orange flakies in there, which I don't know if they're orange or red, they might be a little shifty, it looks very different. I think that changes the polish completely. So close, but definitely not dupes. So I have two favorites here, Spiced Cider and Bear Hug, because they're both really deep brown holographics, Bear Hug being very, very deep brown. But for some reason this fall, I know it's like a fall thing anyway, but for some reason this fall, more than usual, I've been like really wanting to wear really, really dark brown, dark, kind of neutral holographic shades, so these two were right up my alley. So that is the ILNP Home for the Holidays collection. Again, I will link the ILNP website down below where you guys can check those out because they are available right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.